So, Dr. Sultan, why is a menstruating woman not allowed to pray?
Well, before I answer this question, I want to mention that what the Quran teaches about menstruating women is a reform of what was believed in the religions which came before Islam. And because in all the previous traditions, menstruation was considered to be impurity and and defilement. And so women in this condition were isolated in the home. They were not allowed to enter the places of worship, and then people would not eat with them. So, but in the Quran, there is no such restriction, and there is one verse about on this topic in Surah number 2, which simply says that uh, menstruation is a state of being in pain. That is all it says. And so, which is just a physical description that women who in this state experience pain. Right? So then coming to your question, it is true that in books of hadith, we are told that Prophet Muhammad said that women who are in this state should not pray. But I believe that it is an exemption and not a prohibition, because in order to pray properly, you should be able to be in a clear state of mind, and you should be able to focus on what you are saying. And if somebody is feeling pain or strong pain, then they are not able to do that, right? So it has been a mistake in the later centuries where scholars and common people have assumed that for some reason that a menstruating woman should not pray. They have interpreted it as a prohibition, and because that would assume that somehow a woman who is menstruating is somehow clean or something is wrong with her, which is not what the Quran teaches. And then coming to the modern times, uh, there are people have discovered many ways of controlling their pain, and they can function quite well in even in this state. And so, for example, many women go to work all the time because they take a painkiller or they do other things, and so that they can function even in this state. So then they should also be able to pray, and 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 prayer is important. Prayer is your conversation with God, and any day when you do not pray is a loss for you. So I would say that a woman who is menstruating should be able to pray if she can.
Can she read the Quran?
Yes, so there is no prohibition on a menstruating woman from reading the Quran. Now, I know that in many cultures, people have assumed that a woman in this state should not touch the Quran, like the book. And so this is attributed to a hadith, which says a woman who is menstruating should not touch the Quran. But that hadith is problematic because in the days of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, there were no copies of the Quran. So this whole idea that a woman should not be able to touch the Quran is doesn't make sense. So if you are able to read, if you are able to focus, then you should read.